Now let me introduce you someone who knows what I'm talking about. Our next speaker is the president of the SEA, Diana Lacey, SEA and SEIU Local 1984. She is the first woman to head the SEA as a full-time president, and only the second woman in its 71-year history to reach its top post. She has worked for the state of New Hampshire for more than 20 years, spending the 17 years before becoming the SEA president working at the Department of Health and Human Services. Prior to her election as president, she also led the state employees contract negotiation team for 5 years, balancing the voices and the power of the largest single labor contract in the state against one of the most popular governors in New Hampshire history during a period of time with fiscal pressure and political strife. Please welcome Belmont resident and SEA president Diana Lacey.
Thank you, Magnus. Now, when I originally saw the lineup, I was speaking after President McKenzie, and I don't do it as naturally as he does, because he's been doing it for 40 years. So let's give him a big round of applause, another applause, because he's a tough act to follow. Okay. Thank you all for coming today, and thank you for everything that you do. Today I stand before you honored and blessed to be the president of the State Employees Association, SEIU Local 1984, and I've worked for the state, as Magnus said, for altogether actually more than 20 years. And all along that time I felt a great sense of pride being of service to our fellow citizens. Who knew that one day I would be referred to as a public enemy, as a parasite, as a bloodsucker, as a leech, all because I'm a public servant and a union member. And oh, by the way, I'm also part of the 99%. Now, I didn't grow up rich. I spent quite a few years as a latchkey kid, and television was a very big part of my life and a very big part of how my view of the world was shaped. So I'm going to ask you to have a little fun with me for a minute here, and I'm going to ask how many of you out there remember the Brady Bunch? Right? Good. I was counting on that, thank God. Now, do you remember the episode when Jan and Peter were practicing for their school play, and they had, part of their lines that they practiced was, "Hark, who goes there?" Does anybody remember that? Okay, well, who knew that 40 years later that memory would start going through my mind? Because that's what labor is to this country. We are a century. We are a century of the American dream. A century is a guard, especially a soldier, posted at a given spot to prevent the passage of unauthorized persons. Through the dedication and commitment of millions of union members, labor has dutifully and steadfastly served as the century of the American dream, ready to block those who seek to destroy it for the work that the generations before us have done to build it. Our work touches the lives of everyone we know, whether they know it or whether they will acknowledge it. Let me share how the century touched my life. My parents were both first-generation Americans. My mother is a Mexican-American. Her parents legally immigrated to this country before Congress decided to start discriminating against Latinos. My father was Irish-American. His parents legally immigrated to this country as young adults at a time when the jobs that were being grown by the American industry did not have enough workers to fill them, so we opened our gates and asked everybody to come. They both served their country in the Navy as young adults. My father eventually landed an IBEW job with the knowledge he gained from the Navy. My mother landed one years later with CWA, based on affirmative action in equal opportunity laws. They both made a decent wage and they had great health care and a modest pension. In the 1970s, my mother as then a single parent, was able to buy a home thanks to affordable housing laws. Then there's my own life. I've been serving the citizens of New Hampshire beginning at age 19. I had my first child at 21, and by then the laws had changed enough that I could not be discriminated against for getting pregnant or for taking maternity leave. By the time my children were in grade school, the Family Medical Leave Act had passed, and I knew I could take care of them when they were sick without fear of losing my job. Now, I was in the SEA, and throughout my career, my union family spent year after year weaving the advancements periodically gained in law with personnel rules and contract language change, so that my chance to achieve the American dream grew stronger over time. Then there is my 5-month-old grandson. His healthcare costs are covered by Medicaid right now because his parents can't make enough money to get him insurance, let alone for themselves. I want him to have a good education, but I wonder if he'll be able to if we turn into a society where only the rich can get a quality education. And I want him to always feel like he's a valued person. And even though he is only 1/8 Mexican, my little guy looks Mexican. And I wonder what his life will be like when he is an adult if Arizona-type racial profiling laws come to New Hampshire or become the law of this land. I look at him in pictures every day, and I hear my inner voice scream out in my head, "Hark, who goes there?" Now make no bones about this, folks, there is a movement underfoot, and the American dream is under attack. Our most vulnerable, the poor, the frail, and children are kicked to the curb to give more money to the 1%. Labor rights and full-time jobs are being destroyed to give more power to the 1%. And voting rights are being destroyed to give the 1% unstoppable control of this country. 99% of the people respect and value each other. 99% of us pay our fair share of taxes. And 99% of us are living with income inequality that is growing rather than shrinking. It is unconscionable what is going on in our country. There are too many politicians in power who are doing the bidding of the 1% rather than the 99%. The corporate takeover is real. It has gotten so bad, and I just learned this about 3 days ago, there's a law pending in the Tennessee legislature that would make it a felony if a union organizer asked you to join a union and you felt intimidated. A felony. So here's another little interesting part. Nashville is the home of hundreds of corporate headquarters, including Corrections Corporations of America, CCA, the very group that wants to privatize our state prison system here in New Hampshire. Just happens to be in the state where they want to make union organizing a felony. Is that what we want here in New Hampshire? Now, I guess CCA is going that route because they're afraid they're not going to be able to fill all their prisons with the Latinos that they're trying to make criminals. So, and I'm hearing in my head, again, just as I think about CCA, hark, who goes there? We are here today to talk about labor, yet we would be remiss if we did not remember the major advancements that were attributable to labor that have also come with the power of the people that were willing to work together in common purpose, dedicated to the 99%, dedicated to the American dream. Today, labor density may be low, but because we still have a nationwide infrastructure that continues to call out the wrongdoing of the 1%, that continues to fight income inequality and discrimination, and that continues to fight for the American dream, We are experiencing an unprecedented attack. The powerful few that are waging war on workers know that if they succeed with eliminating the labor movement, they will wholly control the 99%. That power struggle is real. Now, Brother McKenzie said it. He said they knock us down, we get up. They try to, kick us out the door, we come back in, and we've had a long, long tradition of that. But these forces are more galvanized against us than ever before, and the fight is going to be harder than ever. The path each of us walk through life is unique. True, there may be similarities that make us say some things like, mine is a typical tale. But the moment in which each of us experience a transformational moment is always remarkable. For me, becoming a union activist was nothing I ever dreamed about. But one day, I heard Peter and Jan Brady in my head saying, "Hark, who goes there?" And I know it's strange to hear a Labor president talk about the Brady Bunch, but the reality is those words sit with me, and I realize I am called to duty. I have to take my place being a sentry and blocking what the 1% is trying to do to this country. I am a sentry. I am a guard. I am a soldier, poised at a given spot in time to prevent the passage of unauthorized persons. And today I call upon you to join me in the call of duty, the duty to protect the American dream. We are the 99%, and if we all answer that call, we will win this war on workers. 99%, we will win. Thank you, thank you.